Why do some men become stronger, sharper, and more stoic the longer they stay single, while others seem to spiral into loneliness, bitterness, or even resentment? That question alone may just reshape how you view your own solitude. And in this video, we're going to dive deep into exactly why. But more importantly, we'll uncover how you can use that solitude to transform yourself completely. Before we get started, if you're a man who's ever felt like being alone might be a curse, or even if you're thriving in your solitude but want to take it further, this video is for you. So make sure to like, subscribe to the Stoic Script, and stick around to the very end, because this isn't just philosophy, it's a guide that could seriously change your love life. Now let's build the context, because nothing Marcus Aurelius ever wrote was surface level, and neither is what we're about to explore. 1. Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself. Have you ever loved someone so deeply that just hearing their name could flip your entire mood? A moment where the memory of their smile, their voice, or the way they looked at you would either give you the strength to move mountains or the weakness to crumble in silence. If you felt that, you're not alone. In fact, you're the reason this video exists. Let's go back to a familiar story. Maybe it's yours. Maybe it's someone you know. But let's pretend just for a second that this is about you. There was once a man, maybe not the loudest in the room, not the flashiest, but a man who loved purely. He gave his heart to someone, fully. And maybe in return he was met with love, or maybe he was met with silence, betrayal, or worst of all, indifference. And when that love disappeared, when the we turned back into me, something inside him cracked. Now pause right there. Do you remember your version of that story? That one person who changed everything? The one that made you believe and then made you doubt? Now here's where Marcus Aurelius steps in. He wrote, "Be tolerant with others and strict with yourself." You see, in moments of heartbreak, most men fall into one of two traps. 1, they become cold, detached, bitter toward women, toward love, toward the world. Or 2, they completely lose themselves. They spiral, drown in distractions, let their health, their mind, and their peace rot from the inside. But Marcus offers a third way, a higher path. He's telling us that when we get hurt, the world doesn't need more bitterness. It needs more clarity. That heartbreak, that betrayal, that silence you got from her, that's not your cue to hate. It's your call to discipline. Instead of turning your pain outward, turn your attention inward. Use that solitude not as punishment, but as preparation. Be tolerant with others, with the people who don't understand you, with the ones who ghosted you, with the one who didn't see your worth. But for yourself, no shortcuts, no self-pity. Hold yourself to a higher standard. Start waking up early. Hit the gym, not for vanity, but for vengeance over weakness. Start reading, not to escape, but to evolve. Build something, a body, a business, a discipline that even love can't distract you from. You don't heal by waiting. You heal by becoming. And when you do that, when you take that heartbreak and forge it into something solid, you don't just survive being single. You dominate it. That woman from your past, maybe she comes back, maybe she doesn't, it doesn't matter. Because you'll be too focused, too locked in, too deeply grounded in who you've become to ever beg for what left you. And that is what Marcus Aurelius meant. So let me ask you again before we move on. Are you being strict with yourself? Or are you still waiting for someone to rescue you from your own story? Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Have you ever sat there staring at her profile picture, wondering what he had that you didn't? You know who I mean, the guy she chose, the one she smiled at after she stopped smiling at you, the one she posts about now. Maybe he's taller, richer, smoother with his words, or maybe he's not even half the man you are, but still, she chose him. And in that moment, your mind begins racing. You start comparing, doubting, asking the same questions over and over again. What does she see in him? Was I not enough? What makes a man truly good? Desirable? Unforgettable? If you've ever felt that, then lean in, because Marcus Aurelius said something that cuts through that chaos like a blade through fog. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Let's unpack that, but not from a philosopher's view, from your story. Because this is personal. Let's imagine a time. You were texting her late at night, making her laugh, maybe dreaming about the future. You told her things you never told anyone. You gave her your real self. And when she left, when that silence took her place, your brain went to war. You searched for answers, for reasons, for closure. But here's the truth, closure isn't given. It's built. Most men sit in that heartbreak like it's a prison. They argue with themselves. They argue with their memories. They replay the breakup like a broken record, analyzing every detail. They waste years trying to understand what went wrong, instead of becoming the man who no longer needs to ask. Stop wondering what a good man should be. Start becoming him. A good man doesn't spend his nights watching who she's with now. He spends them building a life so powerful, so grounded, that even love doesn't define him, it only enhances him. So here's a hard question, one you need to ask yourself right now. Have you been chasing her or chasing yourself? Because the man who constantly measures himself against another will always be a shadow. But the man who chooses to evolve, who trains, reads, works, grows, that man becomes a storm. And here's the best part, when you become that kind of man, you don't need to chase love. It finds you, because women don't follow noise. They follow presence, calm, strength, purpose. So stop asking what she wants in a man. Stop comparing yourself to the guy she left you for. Instead, become the man you would follow. The one who doesn't seek approval. The one who moves in silence. The one who walks alone. Not because he has to, but because he chooses to. This is your story. And this part right here, this is your turning point. The man you're meant to become. He's waiting on the other side of your discipline, near where the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. You're lying in bed. It's 1:47 a.m. Everything around you is quiet except your mind. That's loud. It's replaying old memories like a playlist on repeat. Her laugh, the way she said your name, that look in her eyes that once said, I see you, and now she's gone. Maybe she left without warning. Maybe it ended in a fight, or maybe it just faded slow and cruel. But you know what hurts the most? You still think about her. Not just once in a while, daily. Be honest with me for a second. When you look in the mirror now, do you still see the same man? Or have your thoughts about her, about yourself, changed you? Because Marcus Aurelius said something chillingly true. The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Think about that. It means whatever you're thinking day after day paints who you are permanently. So if you keep thinking about how she hurt you, how you weren't enough, how love betrayed you, you're letting those thoughts dye your soul. You're becoming what you dwell on. Let me tell you a quick story. Not about a philosopher or a warrior, but about you. Or someone just like you. There was a man who loved hard, gave everything, and when she walked away, he didn't scream. He didn't chase, but he also didn't heal. He sat with the pain. He let it soak into every corner of his mind. He started telling himself things. Maybe I'm just hard to love. Or maybe she was right to leave. Over time, those thoughts didn't just stay in his mind. They became his identity. He stopped smiling, stopped creating, stopped trusting. The world didn't do that to him. His thoughts did. And that's what Marcus was warning us about. So if you're still here, still watching, ask yourself right now, what are the colors of your thoughts? Are they dark and bitter? Do they taste like regret and blame? Or are they filled with hope, power, growth, even if you're still in pain? Because here's the truth no one tells you. You don't need to feel better to start thinking better. You just need to choose better thoughts. Instead of, why did she leave me? Try, what can I build while I'm alone? Instead of, what's wrong with me? Try, what version of me is being born right now? Instead of, she was everything. Try, maybe I am everything I need for now. Because those thoughts, they aren't just words. They're colors. And the more you repeat them, the more they soak into who you are. And when your soul is dyed in strength, gratitude, and calm, no storm can stain you again. 4. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Have you ever felt like life spun completely out of your control right after she left? One day you're sending her voice notes, making plans for weekends, dreaming about a future together. The next, your phone is silent. Her name isn't lighting up your screen anymore. She's living a life you're no longer a part of, laughing in pictures with someone else, posting cryptic quotes that cut you deeper than you want to admit. And you start thinking, how did I lose everything so fast? That feeling, the loss, the confusion, the chaos, it's enough to make a man believe he's powerless, that nothing he does matters, that love is random and pain is inevitable. But Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic emperor, wrote something that shatters that lie like glass. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Let's sit with that for a second. You didn't choose for her to walk away. You didn't choose the betrayal. You didn't ask for the unanswered questions. But you do get to choose one thing. What happens in your mind afterward? That's your battlefield. That's where the real war is fought. Let me tell you a story. It's not ancient. It's recent. Maybe it's even yours. A man just like you watched everything slip away. The relationship. The routine. The connection. Nights turned cold. His heart felt hollow. But instead of building walls or running wild, he made a different choice. He didn't fight for her. He fought for himself. He said, I can't control her actions, but I can control my reaction. I can't stop the pain, but I can decide what I do with it. So he started with one thing, his mind. Each morning he sat in silence. He listened to the hurt, but he didn't let it speak lies. He replaced "she left me" with "I'm still here." He traded "I'm not enough" with "I'm learning to be better, not bitter." And slowly, he found strength. Not in getting her back, not in distracting himself with another woman, but in reclaiming his power. The one thing heartbreak can never take from you unless you give it away. So now I ask you, what have you been trying to control that was never yours to begin with? Her choices? Her feelings? Her silence? It's time to let go of all of that and turn inward. You can't force someone to stay, but you can build a life so grounded, so full, so magnetic, that whether love returns or not, you remain untouchable. Remember, your power isn't in who loves you back. Your power is in the thoughts you choose, the habits you build, the man you become while the world watches. And that power? It's always been yours. 5. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Have you ever been hurt so deeply by someone you trusted that revenge crossed your mind more than once? Not the movie-type revenge, not fireworks and fury, but quiet, emotional revenge. You wanted her to regret it. You wanted her to see you glowing without her. Maybe you even imagined that one-day text, "I miss you." Be honest with me. You ever replayed scenes in your head? Imagining what you'd say if you bumped into her again. Imagining how flawless, calm, and unbothered you'd look while she crumbles inside? If that's you, you're not crazy. You're human. We all want to be seen. We all want to be remembered, especially by the one who made us feel invisible. But that's where Marcus Aurelius speaks with thunder-like clarity. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Let's translate that into your story, because yes, this is still your story. She may have lied. Maybe she replaced you like you were never anything. Maybe she moved on like the love you gave was disposable. And maybe for a while, you started to become like her, cold, guarded, detached. But that's not who you are. That's who pain tried to make you. You see, when someone wrongs us, the easy path is to become them. To start ghosting, to start manipulating, to start building walls so high that no one can ever love you deeply again. But what Marcus teaches is this: becoming the person who hurt you doesn't protect you, it destroys you. Because the moment you adopt their behaviors to win, you've already lost your character. And a man without character is just noise, loud but empty. Let me tell you a story. Maybe it's yours. There was a guy who got blindsided by a breakup. No closure, just a slow fade. She stopped replying. Started hanging with someone new within weeks. His heart crushed. His first instinct was fire. He wanted to post the gym pics, slide into DMs, show the world he's unbothered. But instead, he went silent. Not out of weakness, but out of wisdom. He chose to be unlike her, to not play games, to not chase validation. He worked, he trained, he meditated. He healed in private, and soon, the need for revenge melted into peace. And guess what? She noticed. Maybe she reached out, maybe she didn't, but by that time, he didn't care. Because he realized the best revenge is not needing one. So let me ask you now, who have you been trying to become since she left? Her or you, but better? Be unlike the person who broke you. Not to win, not to hurt back, but because your soul deserves better. Your future woman deserves better. You deserve better. 6. Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou wilt always look. Have you ever sat there alone in your room playing back her last words over and over again? Maybe it was a cold "I just don't feel the same anymore," or worse. Maybe she didn't say anything at all. Maybe she just drifted, leaving you drowning in your own thoughts. And since that day, every time her name pops up in your head, you feel that punch in the gut. You think, why does this still hurt? Why can't I let it go? If that's you, then brother, you're not alone. In fact, what you're feeling is something Marcus Aurelius understood centuries ago. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment." Let's break that down like it's part of your story, because it is. You see, the pain isn't just about her leaving, it's about the meaning you've attached to her leaving. You told yourself, if she left, then maybe I wasn't enough. Or if she chose someone else, then maybe I'm unlovable. But Marcus reminds us it's not what happened. It's what you believe about what happened. Let me tell you a story about a man. Maybe it's you. Maybe it's someone you used to be. He loved with his whole chest, gave everything. Wasn't perfect, but he was loyal, present, real. And when she walked away, it felt like everything collapsed. At first he blamed her, then he blamed himself, then he blamed love, until one night he read that quote from Marcus and sat in silence with it. The pain is not due to the thing itself, but my estimate of it. And he realized something powerful. He had given her departure a meaning it didn't deserve. He made it mean he was broken, that love was dangerous, that opening up again was foolish. So what did he do? He revoked that meaning. He said, her leaving doesn't define me. My reaction does. He said, this pain is real, but it's not final. He said, I'm allowed to feel it, but I'm also allowed to free myself from it. He took back the pen and rewrote the story. And that's what I'm asking you to do right now. Because love will hurt. People will leave. Life will shake you. But nothing has the power to define you unless you hand over that power yourself. So let me ask you, what meaning have you been giving to your pain? And more importantly, are you ready to take it back? This is not just heartbreak. This is rebirth. And the next insight from Marcus Aurelius might just be the final piece. You need to become unstoppable. 7. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Have you ever tried to prove to someone that you were a good man, only for them to walk away anyway? You held the door open. You listened to her long rants when she cried. You remembered little things she liked, made her feel safe, stayed loyal when it would have been easy not to. You tried. You kept asking yourself, what more could I have done? What more did she want? You start wondering if being a good man even matters anymore. But right there, in that storm of self-doubt, is where Marcus Aurelius drops a line like thunder. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Let's turn that into your story. Because that ache in your chest, it's not just heartbreak. It's the pressure of trying to measure up to someone else's version of good. There was a man, maybe you'll recognize him, who fell in love deeply. He showed up, gave his all, but as time passed, he noticed her pulling away. She stopped appreciating the things he did. She seemed colder, more distant. He started overthinking. Maybe I should be tougher, or maybe more sensitive. Maybe I should make her jealous, or act like I don't care. He wasted weeks, months trying to figure out how to be the right kind of man to keep her love alive. Until one day, she left. No dramatic goodbye, just silence. And in that silence, he remembered this truth from Marcus. Stop debating what kind of man you should be. Start being one. That's when everything changed. He stopped trying to perform. He stopped playing roles. He asked himself, what does a good man look like? Not for her, but for me. And he made a quiet promise to himself. He would show up not because it guaranteed love, but because that's who he is. He would be honest even if it risked being misunderstood. He would protect his peace even if it meant letting go of someone he once prayed for. He began to work on himself, not as a strategy to win someone back, but as a sacred responsibility to his own soul. Let me ask you now, have you been living to impress someone else's idea of a good man? Or have you been becoming one, quietly, consistently when no one's watching? Being a good man isn't a performance, it's a lifestyle. And whether she notices or not, the right person won't need convincing. She'll feel it in your presence, in your silence, in your choices. So stop asking, why didn't she see my worth? And start declaring, from this day on, I will never need her to. Your character is your legacy, and the next lesson from Marcus will help you protect it through love, loss, and everything in between. 8. Dwell on the beauty of life. Watch the stars and see yourself running with them. What's the one thing she said or did that still replays in your mind late at night? You know the moment I'm talking about. Maybe it was the text that ended everything. Maybe it was the way her voice changed when she started falling out of love. Maybe it was seeing her with someone else smiling like you never existed. You told yourself you'd move on. That time would heal it, but somehow, you keep going back there in your mind. Over and over again. That's where Marcus Aurelius, with a calm that only someone who has suffered can understand, gives us this reminder. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Let me share a story with you. Maybe it sounds like your own. There was a man who gave his heart to a woman he thought was his forever. He built dreams with her, talked about future homes, kids growing old together, but she walked away just like that. At first he begged reality to change. He prayed she'd come back. He stalked her socials, wondered what he did wrong, blamed the universe, blamed himself. Every morning his first thought was her. Every night his last thought was still her. Until one evening, as he scrolled through endless quotes looking for some sort of meaning, he stopped at this one. You have power over your mind, not outside events. And that's when it hit him. He couldn't control her decision. He couldn't rewrite the past. But he could control what he told himself about it. He could stop saying, I wasn't enough. He could stop asking, what if I had done more? He could start saying, she made a choice and I respect that. He could say, her leaving doesn't define my worth. My response does. That's when things began to change. Not on the outside, but inside. He stopped trying to edit the story. He started rewriting the meaning. Because that's what Marcus meant. True strength isn't about controlling others. It's about mastering the war in your own mind. Let me ask you now, what thought has been tormenting you since she left? And more importantly, is that thought even true? Or just a story your broken heart told your mind to protect you? You see, healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means understanding you were never powerless. It means realizing that while you couldn't keep her, you can keep yourself. And in a world where everything can be taken, away from jobs to love to health, your mind is the one kingdom you still rule. So protect it, train it, guard it like a sacred temple. Because once you reclaim your thoughts, you reclaim your peace. And what comes next in this journey? It might be the most freeing realization you've ever heard. Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth. Have you ever caught yourself fantasizing about showing her what she lost? Maybe you imagined pulling up in a better car, more muscles on your frame, more money in your wallet, or a new woman on your arm who treats you like a king. Maybe you pictured her seeing your Instagram and thinking, damn, I messed up. And if you've done that, you're not weak. You're human. We all feel that need for closure, for validation, for revenge. But that's exactly where Marcus Aurelius speaks like a whisper to the soul. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Let me tell you a story that might sound like it's ripped from your own life. There was once a man who loved a woman with his whole heart. He was honest, loyal, vulnerable. He thought they were building something sacred together. But behind his back, she was texting someone else. At first, he didn't see it. Love blinded him. But then the patterns changed. The energy shifted, and the truth came out like a blade to the chest. She had been lying, sneaking, comparing, and when she finally left, she made it sound like he was the problem, like his love was too much, like his expectations were too high. He was shattered, but something inside him burned. Not sadness, not grief, but rage. He wanted to make her feel everything he was feeling. He wanted her to regret it, to beg to come back, to see him glowing without her. But late one night, in that spiral of pain and pride, he came across these words from Marcus. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. And in that moment, it all shifted. Why become cold just because she was? Why lie to the next girl just because this one did? Why betray himself just because she betrayed him? That's when he made a decision. He wouldn't become bitter. He'd become better. He started waking up early, not to impress her, but to rebuild himself. He hit the gym, not to post thirst traps, but to honor his health. He read books, explored purpose, connected with brothers who held him accountable. And slowly, without realizing it, he became the man he once pretended to be just to keep her. Let me ask you now, what kind of man are you becoming in response to her betrayal? Because pain can either poison you or polish you. You don't need to post about your glow-up. You don't need to prove anything to her or anyone else. Your healed spirit, your grounded energy, that is your revenge. quiet, powerful Stoic. So before you go chasing validation, ask yourself, are you becoming like the one who hurt you, or rising above them? To he who is brave is free. I want you to stop for a moment and think back to a time, maybe recently, maybe a while ago, when you felt trapped in your own emotions, when everything in your life seemed out of control, and the person you loved was slipping away. Or maybe they've already gone and the weight of it still hangs over you. You feel stuck, like you can't move forward. Now let me ask you this. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to truly let go of all the fear, all the pain, and to be completely free? I'm talking about freedom not from the relationship itself, but from the grip it has on your soul, the constant running of memories, the tightness in your chest whenever you think of her, the sense of what if that haunts you like an echo. That's where Marcus Aurelius's words hit hard yet true. He who is brave is free. I want to share a story that may sound like your own life, because it's not just the story of one man, it's a story we all live at some point. There was once a man who loved with every ounce of his being. He wasn't afraid to give it all. The affection, the support, the dreams of forever. But eventually he learned the hard way that sometimes love isn't enough. She left. Not because he wasn't enough, but because life had taken her in a different direction. But here's the thing, he didn't just lose her. He lost himself too. The way he defined his worth was tied to her love. He couldn't separate who he was from who he was when he was with her. So every day became a battle of remembering, what did I do wrong? Could I have been better? Maybe if I just tried harder. Until one day, as he sat there, beating himself up over the past, he remembered those words from Marcus Aurelius. He who is brave is free. And something shifted inside him. Freedom didn't mean forgetting her or erasing the love they shared. It meant reclaiming his power to decide who he was in the face of heartache. It meant choosing bravery, even when his heart wanted to shrink into the shadows of fear and regret. Let me ask you now, what would it take for you to be brave? I'm not talking about pretending to be okay when you're not. I'm talking about stepping into the raw, uncomfortable truth of your emotions and choosing to rise anyway. I'm talking about looking in the mirror and saying, yes, I feel hurt, but I am not defined by this pain. Bravery isn't about acting tough. It's about the strength to face your vulnerability and still choose to grow. So he took his first step. Maybe it was small at first. He went to the gym. He called his friends. He picked up the pieces of his life, not because he had to, but because he realized that he was worth it. And slowly he became free. Not free of the memories, but free to live beyond them. You see, freedom doesn't come from escaping pain. It comes from embracing the fear, facing the vulnerability, and choosing to be more than the heartbreak. So I want to ask you again, are you brave enough to be free? Because the truth is, freedom isn't a place you get to. It's a state of mind you create. So, why does the longer a man stays single, the more he changes? Because solitude is a test. It is a fire. And you either burn or you're forged. If you choose to rise through it, if you choose to take Marcus Aurelius's wisdom and turn it into action, you don't just become a man who's single. You become a man who's sovereign, grounded, stoic. And when you become that man, love doesn't complete you. It finds you. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.